Hey guys, Ranger here, and welcome back to another video, and welcome back to uh, another episode of MLP, another reaction and review, and this is to the 4th episode of MLP, which is Twilight's 7. Okay, I'm not sure what this is. All I know is it opens up with Spike and Starlight and Twilight, and I know that because I had to check the video to make sure the sound was good. I have no idea what this episode is about, so let's dive into it because I'm extremely curious. Twilight 7, okay. Twilight 7 what? I don't know. Let's begin. Starting video in 3, 2. I'm sorry, can I start recording? Alright. Starting video in 3. Wait. Okay. Starting video in 3, 2, 1, click. Starlight looks great there.
I just got. Do you know what this means?
That was adorable.
I don't. What's so exciting about a toy crown? This is no toy crown. It's the hard-won helm of the Sibling Supreme.
What?
When Shining Armor and I were small, we competed over everything.
Oh! Little Twilight again. Ah! Cute.
To keep it friendly, our parents gave us gold stars every time we did something special.
Oh, okay.
Sharing, getting good grades, even telling a really funny joke. And at the end of each week, we'd add up the stars. The sibling with the most would win the crown of the Sibling Supreme and bragging rights. Till next time.
Guess that explains your love of charts and so much else. I always wanted to be Sibling Supreme one day. Meet me at Celestia's castle to decide who deserves the crown once and for all. Race you there!
Guess I'll watch the school?
Okay, this is already starting out to be totally adorable. Already some adorable faces from Starlight and from Twilight, and we get some interesting more sibling stuff with Twilight and Shining, going back to the past here, referencing that. It's already so cute. It's already starting out a warm-hearted episode. I'm already excited for it to see what happens. I'm just kind of curious. So why is Shining talking about one final time? Why is he talking about that? I don't get it. Let's begin and see what happens. I'm curious. Whoa.
You're wearing it?
Look, I know you've always held a grudge because I left home with this.
Grudge? Pfft, what grudge? Just because you've had it for way longer than you should have and I never got a chance to win it back.
With the return of Sombra, Princess Luna and I felt it was time to reinforce the castle's defenses.
I said we could do it ourselves, but some ponies are a bit stubborn.
So I asked our old captain of the guard to handle the job.
I've taken the security here to a whole new level. The only thing I need now is some pony to test.
This is gonna be a fun episode.
You want me to break into Celestia's castle?
If you can get past my defenses, steal the crown, and get out, you'll be Sibling Supreme forever.
Forever.
If you fail, I keep the crown.
Deal. Wait, are you sure this counts? Mom and Dad aren't giving us any stars.
I will represent their authority. And thank you, Twilight. Your help will reveal if there are any holes in our security.
I've designed a
I love this with Luna and Celestia here.
backed up line of defense. The castle is surrounded by shards of Queen Chrysalis's throne. Thanks to Star Swirl, it's anti.
Oh, that's that scene. Okay, from the trailer.
Any
Okay.
creature from using a spell to get inside.
Okay.
You can't fly in either. Giant fans keep any creature from flying too close to the castle.
Okay. So this is like a Mission Impossible style
Plus,
thing.
the
Okay.
entrances to the tunnels below the castle have been sealed,
Cute.
so there's no underground access.
I love the use of the female guards.
And even if you could get in, which you can't, I've doubled the ranks of security. Ponies protect every hallway and door, which can only be opened with Royal Guard medals.
Huh, okay.
Even if you brought an army, the throne room is the safest spot in Equestria. I rigged a floor trap to activate at the
I see it.
slightest touch. But say you avoid the floor. Still no luck, because I've employed nature's alarm system.
Got a question. Okay. Why are you telling her what she should avoid?
You can hear their honks all the way in Ponyville. Plus they bite.
So that's what we're up against.
Whew, that's a barrel and a half of obstacles, plus a bushel and a peck of impenetrability.
And all of this is to win some fillyhood competition with your brother?
Yep.
It's more than that. Okay, it's exactly that. And to protect Celestia's castle.
If it means
Yeah,
that much to you,
right.
Twilight, we're in.
I love Rainbow's expression here. And that.
Of course we'll help. But how?
Shining Armor may have come up with some great security, but it'll never
Twilight
get
7. This is based on Ocean's
We play our
11,
strengths
I think,
and
isn't it?
defeat all of
Even
the
though I've never seen
security
the movie,
measures.
I just know the
That
title.
way, if one of us fails, the others will still have a shot at getting the crown. Pinky, you'll distract the guards with a surprise party.
Yes, sir,
Won't
Twilight.
they expect that?
Applejack, you'll buck your way into the sealed tunnels. Rainbow Dash, if any pony can outfly those wind turbines, it's you. Rarity, you'll sew us guard costumes so we can sneak past security. Then Fluttershy will disable the throne room alarm by charming the geese.
It's from Shining Armor.
I'm already loving this
Dear
episode.
Twilight, hope your
Immensely.
idea isn't just prison balloons, tunnels. He guessed your whole plan.
What? Pinky Party Rarity costumes? Signed the future Sibling Supreme? Oh, come on!
Twilight, darling. No pony knows you better than your own brother.
So you're saying I should give up?
I'm saying your brother will win. No matter how brilliant your plan is, no matter how many variations you try, it will be something your brother expects, and you'll always win. Unless, when the perfect chance comes along, you do something he can't expect. Then you'll win.
You've been practicing that speech, haven't you?
A little bit. It felt like I rushed. Did I rush it?
Absolutely not.
Oh, no. Yeah, it was fast-ish. We have to do the opposite of
I love
what
this
our
episode
brother
already.
expects. Therefore, Twilight cannot mastermind the plan.
What?
But I can.
Oh boy.
That's definitely unexpected.
Yep. Yep. That was definitely out of the blue.
How is you making a break-in plan the opposite of Twilight doing it?
Because my plan is for each of us to devise our own unexpected part of it. Allow me to demonstrate.
Okay. Oh, nice.
Well,
Nice.
with information.
We got questions, and you're gonna serve us up some answers, Juice Jockey.
Where is the secret entrance to the passages under Canterlot Castle?
Shining Armor sealed them all. There's no secret entrance.
There's always a secret entrance. So make like a glass of OJ and spill. I know what I can do. You're gonna need a lookout. So
Rarity reminds me of Carmen Sandiego for some reason.
Sally, up here.
What animation style is this?
Oh, Pinky,
Uh.
tickles.
Okay, that's crazy.
What?
How about something a little more down to earth? Like, I distract the guard ponies with a farewell performance by my alter ego, famous country western superstar, Apple Cord.
I didn't know you had an alter ego. And why would she be giving a farewell performance?
Well, it's a long story.
Okay.
Back on the farm, playing music was about making her family smile. Word of her talent spread, and soon Apple Cord was playing real shows. The more she
Hey.
played, the bigger those shows got. But she missed playing for her family. So one day, she gave it all up. Seeing her family smile was all she ever wanted from her music. Of course, Apple Cord could come out of retirement for a farewell concert this one time.
Wait, did you just make all that up, or did that actually happen?
Doesn't matter.
I was wondering the same thing!
Well, I guess the opposite of what I'm good at is being in small spaces.
I always wanted to be a super spy. Is that the opposite of anything?
Fluttershy?
Agent Fluttershy. Target detected below.
Yeah, this is Mission Impossible.
It's almost too easy.
Okay. Dang, this is awesome. Fluttershy rocks. Okay, that was freaking beast.
I guess I'm the only one left that still needs a plan.
Oh, no, darling. That is the plan. You shall do nothing.
Shining armor definitely won't expect that.
Yeah. Yeah. Seriously. How did she get through?
Applejack? What are you doing?
Applejack? Who's that? My name's Apple Cord, and I've got a couple of songs to play for you. Clap your hooves if you know them. And a 1 and a 2 and a... My love is like a barrel full of hay.
The Wonderbolts did a flyby, and the only way past those giant fans and into the castle ducts is here. But there's no room for mistakes.
Just like space travel. Pinky? We're not actually...
Oh yeah, I just now realized we got the outfit from Fluttershy for her again.
I'm dropping you two off as soon as we're close to the fans. Then I'm going into space.
Okay. Uh-oh.
You're up to something, Twilight.
Nope, just looking at the flowers.
Right.
Can I question two things?
Ooh, maybe Rarity's plan will work.
Can I question something? Okay, that's the thing from the trailer. Isn't this
I know that one's a crowd favorite. What
like
say we play it
a
one
bit
more
of a
time?
waste
And a
of
1
resources?
and a 2 and a...
Like, should you actually be protecting the castle instead of using the
It's a
resources?
distraction.
How? Who? What?
Where's Spike and Fluttershy?
Who
Did they make it
designed
to the
that?
castle?
They jumped out right before
What?
the balloon.
Never mind. That was awesome.
But that's all I can see without being in space, where I didn't get to go.
Let's hope Rarity and Rainbow Dash had better luck.
What's this? Closed?
Oh, the CD Juice joint is always closed around this time.
Then how are we meant to shake down ne'er-do-wells for information?
What sort of information do you need?
The location to a secret entrance to the passages under Canterlot Castle?
You mean that one?
Really?
Yes, thank you. That will do nicely.
Okay. Zephyr?
Breeze?
Oh no! Don't! No, don't use her!
Perfect.
Oh no.
How is this perfect? He's the
Oh,
most
no.
annoying pony in Equestria, and he's totally obsessed with me, and we have to
Go,
find a
girl.
way to distract.
Oh shoot.
Oh no! Oh no way!
Are you freaking serious?
What? Rainbow! I knew you'd come running when you heard I got this job. The mayor's love a pony in uniform. Am I right?
Not really.
Rainbow's gonna puke. She's gonna hurl.
Totally. Why don't you step into the light so I can see how handsome you look in it?
She is going to hurl chunks for this. And she's also going to murder Rarity.
I told the Sarge that gold kind of clashes with my aura, but apparently they aren't big on input. Still, I totally managed to rock the look, don't you think?
No.
Yep. You're You're real guard material.
I'm part of the castle team now, so I'm basically... Whoa, we got a swooner!
What the? Oh my freaking gosh.
You're finally being honest with your feelings for me, Rainbows.
Punch him in the face.
The truth is such a gift. Like, I had to follow
Just
my
punch him in the face.
My calling. Like, look at me go. I'm gonna walk over here and I go, whoa, over there. And I go, yeah. And sometimes I just stand like this and look real cool. And I go down the hallway and go, ow, 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 ow.
Really? Oh my gosh, I love this episode.
We'll have to glide to the throne. No flapping.
Oh dear.
Sister! Another false alarm from Shining Armor's guard geese.
We should have heard by now. Something must have gone wrong.
Probably several somethings.
What has gone right?
No lookout, no distraction, and no word from the ponies inside. I'm starting to think this whole operation might be a giant flop.
I love this episode, I do.
Oh no.
Calm down.
Fluttershy, I thought your whole small spaces thing was just part of the plan to be unexpected.
Once I got trapped in the castle of the two sisters, and Angel Bunny and I were separated. Now whenever I'm in a tiny room, it's all I can think about. I was so worried he felt alone and forgotten.
I know what that's like.
What do you mean?
I was always excited to be a part of Twilight's and Shining Armor's rivalry, like I was their little brother. But they never really thought of me that way.
I know they both have a special place in their heart for you. But sibling dynamics are hard, trust me.
Except for Breeze.
Honestly, he can learn a lot from you about being a little brother. I am sick of being lost in these slimy corridors too! But you shouldn't pull every lever you come across! Half of them are traps! And the other half might open a secret passage to the castle! It's not worth the risk! Oh, hello, Spike. Even if we could find our way back to the castle, we'd still have all of those gone. Spike? Fluttershy?
Oh, what are you guys doing down here? We, kind of fell through the floor.
I don't think our plan is working.
We both hit dead ends. Perhaps we should return to the outside and reevaluate.
Nice. Spiders, okay!
What are you all doing out here?
In retrospect, our plan might have been too unexpected.
Really?
Every part of it failed? Oh,
Eh.
no, we'll never get the crown.
Maybe we should go back to doing things the Twilight way.
You mean the totally expected way?
It may not be a surprise, but you have a pretty good record for planning things.
Then I guess it's worth a try. Thanks, Spike.
What are little brothers for?
Okay. You all know what to do.
Ouch. Really? Really? It's Viva Pinky Yada. Okay.
At least one part of our unexpected plan worked unexpectedly.
Oh, there's the scene with Rarity dressed as a guard.
To be fair, it was never made specifically clear to me what guarding actually means. So this is on you.
Please hit him, why don't you?
I'm strong, Twilight.
Oh,
but
dang.
Not even I can buck through solid rock.
That's why I brought a specialist.
Mud! Dang.
Next shift, you're on break.
Rarity, you didn't have to deepen your voice. Give them the stare, Flutters.
Glaring so hard. Who wants a feather massage?
We mapped this out when we got lost down here. The lever to the secret hallway entrance should be here.
I can't believe this worked!
I guess sometimes the best plan is the one you expect.
All I have to do now is fly over and take the
Don't!
crown.
Wait!
And I'll be Sibling Supreme forever!
Wait, don't.
Not exactly.
Oh, come on!
Gotta admit, it was unexpected for you to do everything exactly how I thought you would. But you should know by now, there's no way to beat the true Sibling Supreme.
I am sorry, Twilight, but it looks as though Shining Armor has truly won the crown.
That's the thing about looks. They can be deceiving.
What?
How in Equestria did you do it?
Come on, you two don't think you have the only sibling rivalry. I had an inside pony help.
Luna!
It wasn't hard to miss there was some disagreement on the whole.
I said we could do it ourselves, but some ponies are a bit more stubborn.
So, while Shining Armor went on and on about all his improved security measures, Luna and I struck a deal. She put Zephyr in charge of the catacombs and helped keep Celestia out of the castle hallways. Once Luna was on board, I just had to do my part. And make sure we stuck to Twilight's plan so we'd all get to the throne room at the same time. I knew Shining Armor would let it play out until the last possible second. Then, while everyone was distracted by his gloating, all Luna had to do was float the crown over to me.
I apologize for not listening to your concerns, sister. It seems we need to make adjustments to account for threats inside the castle as well as out. If you agree?
If you think it's worth discussing.
So, if Twilight and Shining Armor failed, who gets the crown?
Spike.
The true Sibling Supreme.
Spike.
Spike.
Huh? The little brother we've always had.
Ha! Cute. Okay. That was a sweet episode. That was a sweet episode. Yeah, I love this episode. I really love this episode, I really do. There was a lot of stuff going on in it. And I like the music too. I like the music. Okay. I really enjoyed this episode. I really did. And there's some interesting things to talk about. First off, okay, there's several different things to talk about story-wise with this episode. First off, I love this episode for the simplicity of the story. You know, we've had a lot of episodes that have something of major importance that the characters have to do. You know, going on a friendship quest, you have to save Equestria, you know, all that. It's very seldom now that we actually get an episode that just focuses on zany fun. Just random stuff. It's not often. I mean, we saw that earlier in, you know, Season 1 and even Season 2 with the characters just doing, you know, kind of zany fun things like that as well. And so to see an episode like this again, where there's nothing of major importance going on, they don't have to try to save Equestria, they're not going on some sort of friendship venture. No, they're just having fun and just being zany. I love this episode because of that, because of the simplicity and the zaniness and just the natural fun sense of humor that this episode accomplishes, that this episode is about. I love it. It's great to get a break from trying to save Equestria, from going on friendship quests to try to do some sort of big important thing. It's great to get a break from that and just have fun, let loose, and just goof off. It's fun, and we finally get to do that. Second thing that I love about this episode is the whole concept between Twilight and Shining. I mean, we haven't had anything like this, honestly. With them just kind of goofing off and, you know, just being themselves, brother and sister. We haven't seen very much of this. We've seen whenever we were introduced to Shining Armor, we were introduced to him at the end of Season 2 with A Canterlot Wedding. It was that episode that introduced us to Shining Armor, and it also introduced us to the bond between Shining and Twilight. It introduced us to that adorable and sweet brother-sister bond, and we actually got to see more. We got to see that. And then we also got to see the episode where Twilight goes on a cruise with her family, and so we got to see a little bit of fun brotherly sister stuff there. Definitely not like this episode either, but considering the responsibilities and the roles that the characters have taken on, I mean, the characters definitely live busy lives now. I mean, they each have a lot of stuff going on. You know, Twilight, she's basically the ambassador of friendship. She's the princess of friendship, and now she has the open to her of taking full reins, of taking full reign of Equestria, of a whole country. She now has a school that she's the head mayor of, or the headmistress of. She's an aunt now, and she's a sister-in-law. She has a lot on her plate. Shining, he's now like the prince, or he's the prince of the Crystal Empire. He's the young married guy. He's got a young wife. He's got a baby, and he's captain of the Royal Guard. He has that. They both have a lot going on in their lives, and so yeah, it's understandable that they don't get to do a lot of things together. So to see them getting to bond and just hang out and just be, just let the kid inside them loose again, it's fun. It's fun. It's so cute. It's so sweet, and I love it. It's adorable. And the last time that we actually got to see anything with Twilight and Shining that I recall getting to do anything together, anything like this at all, you could say there was a bit the Christmas episode, Best Gift Ever, but there wasn't really much to that with them. And then there was, of course, before that, there was the episode where Twilight went on the cruise with her family. So that was pretty much the farthest that we actually got with that one. But to see this, and to see this adorable and fun setup between these two, this was epic. I absolutely loved seeing this. And then there's other very interesting setups throughout the episode to take note of. Like I mentioned prior, I think that this episode might be a reference to Ocean's 11, theoretically. That is a theory. Now, I've never watched the movie, and I know some people are probably going to be like, gasp, you never watched Ocean's 11? No, I never have. I don't even know what it's about, but the title, Ocean's 11, Twilight 7, I just think maybe it's a reference to that. I think there was a bit of Mission Impossible-esque kind of stuff in there as well. So I think it was a bit of a mix. But yeah, I love how they intertwined every bit of that together in this episode. And another side story that it sets up very early on, which is a very interesting thing, is how that it's introduced, is you see early on the kind of the little bitter connection here between Celestia and Luna. And this is an interesting thing because, this still shows. I mean, even though they were completely okay, they were totally fine at the end of the episode where Starlight made them switch cutie marks and switch roles, literally walk a mile or maybe somewhat of a mile in each other's horseshoes. Even though they were totally fine with each other at the end of that episode, realistically, this is natural. You might, siblings know this, heck, even family members and friends know this. Even if you have one argument or, one little disagreement, and you make it through it, there's not a guarantee that you'll never have another one. You will have another one, And again, it's how you handle it and make it through it. There's always going to be that kind of a sibling rivalry going on, and here it's evident with Luna and Celestia. And it's an interesting setup that here Luna is kind of thinking Celestia's stubborn and Celestia won't listen to her. And I love this. So we see this setup, but we didn't know. We did not know how the setup was. Honestly, I did not expect at all that Luna would be in on this. I did not expect it. But again, like I said, another thing that I have to note is I love the inclusion now of the female guards. Seeing more female guards being featured throughout the castle and seeing them having a more active and prominent role. Most of the time before, it was really only male guards, and I'm loving that the inclusion of female guards now, of really balancing out the gender role here, to show that the females are every bit as capable of doing this job as well. And I love that they're doing that. I honestly love that, because I mean this whole show, the main 6 are all females. I mean, this show has shown how strong mentally, physically, and emotionally that these characters are. All these characters are females, and it's shown what they can do. And so I love that they've included other females into the role of the Royal Guards. I love that. And as I continue with the interesting setups here, you can tell Rarity is into the whole, like, the noir black and white style detective thing, which I think is really cool. Like, I do actually have an interest in that thing, in that style. I do actually have an interest in that myself. So to see Rarity in that kind of role, again, it's interesting. And it's also interesting to see Rainbow Dash featured in that role as well. And here she kind of looks like Watson from Sherlock. Yeah, she just kind of makes me think of that, like with Derby. And Rarity looks more like, to me personally, more like Carmen Sandiego. I don't know why. But then we have this interesting scenario where Applejack is like, she had this alter ego where she was originally playing for large crowds and she was popular, but she missed the simplicity of life, so she chucked everything and went back to her family and just became her. And she said it was her alter ego. And Rainbow asked the question here that I was wondering, which is, did you make it up or did it really happen? Like, Applejack, are you writing fan fiction? And Applejack's face here basically says it all. The way that her eyes dart side to side. Yeah, okay, you know what? It's interesting. It's interesting. There's more to this girl than meets the eye. There is. But, you know, it is interesting because this does kind of go to show that there are kind of interesting other backstories to the characters. Now, one could easily say that this setup with Applejack was just shoehorned in, and that the other characters probably would have known. Realistically speaking, you would think, yeah, they would know. You know, if Applejack really just gave it up and decided to retire, I mean, she hasn't been doing it very long. She's still really young, so yeah, she couldn't have been doing it for a very, very long time. In my head, I imagine Applejack's probably like, and all the main 6 are like in their early 20s, age-wise, which cartoons never age, so, I mean, look at Luna and Celestia. They don't look really old, but they've been around for decades, for centuries, so, you know, cartoon characters never age. But, like, you would think if that really happened, wouldn't others be, like, picking her out in a crowd and asking for autographs or asking her, hey, when is your farewell album coming out? Yeah, you would think that. So yeah, it kind of makes you wonder. It's an interesting thing. there are kind of plot holes to that you can look at with that story about the after effects to it. But I really do like the setup for it. It does make it interesting. Then, Fluttershy and Spike. Okay, you know what? The first thing that came to mind, and I'm not sure how many of you guys will remember this, Bob and Steve. You remember this? Back whenever X-Play was on G4, back whenever G4 was a channel, back whenever G4 was about video games, before it started changing and became Tech TV, I think it was, and then it just dropped from that. Remember on the old X-Play, The Adventures of Bob and Steve from Splinter Cell? This is what came to mind whenever I saw this, was the old Bob and Steve things from X-Play years ago, with Fluttershy and Spike in the guise of, like, Bob and Steve in Splinter Cell. So that's interesting to imagine that scenario here with, like, Fluttershy and Spike. Like, this is Splinter Cell. This is, like, Flutter Cell. So, yeah. But here, I love how completely competent. Of course, this was just a fantasy, but Fluttershy was just absolutely beast in this. Fluttershy was just totally beast in this, and I would actually love to see more like this. It's kind of interesting to note. It was interesting foreshadowing. I honestly didn't pay any attention whatsoever whenever Luna was standing here, or the expression that she gave to Zephyr, but she knew. She knew she was setting up the whole thing. But the moment that Rainbow made the mention, actually before Rainbow made the mention about Zephyr being obsessed with her, I immediately knew Rarity was going to say, alright, use your feminine, use your femininity. Woo him. Use your feminine charms to lure him away. And this expression of Rarity is like, girl, you gotta rock this. And Rainbow's like, screw it, forget it. I ain't doing it. And Rainbow, she wanted to F Rarity up. Like, this girl, this is also interesting because this is the first time ever that Rainbow has had to look, had to put on a dress and try to look more feminine than normal for herself and try to woo some guy. This is the first time that she's ever had to do this in the show, ever, and I love it. I love it because this is just completely crazy. And it's clear Rainbow, that's why I said here, Rainbow, this girl is going to hurl, I imagine, after this was over. Rainbow probably washed her mouth out with soap from all of the flirting with Zephyr that was going on. And of course, you can tell Rainbow is totally not invested in anything that this guy is saying. But she's having to try to but she's still trying to keep him occupied so that Rarity can do what she needs to do. And then whenever she trips and Zephyr catches her, she here, I can imagine she's probably thinking, Soren, please don't see me, please don't see this, please don't see this, please don't see this. And then Zephyr, honestly, this guy annoys me, he does. Zephyr makes me think, honestly, Zephyr is like the MLP equivalent to Disney's Mortimer Mouse. Annoying, arrogant, self-absorbed, a womanizer, and just an all-around a-hole. Rainbow here, she was her back hoofs were so close she could have easily kicked him in his nuts and made him sound like Alvin and the Chipmunks. Right there. She, honestly, Rainbow, she does have a lot of mental strength here because she was taking a lot. I'll admit, though, I mean, some of the look with Rainbow here was cute, But her hair, okay. The dress is okay. But honestly, there's just some things that Rainbow, like, she does look good, but at the same time, I prefer her old look, you know? You know, the standard, the way she kept her hair regular. Oh my gosh, wait a minute. I don't know why, but Rainbow's look here, oh my gosh, okay, I don't know if it's directly related to that, but I look at Rainbow's look, particularly the way that her hair is. Rainbow is a Pegasus, which is from Greek mythology. And her hair, the way that her hair is styled here, looks like something, I don't know, it makes me think of Disney's Hercules. Like something, like the way, like the women in Disney's Hercules back in that time period would have kept their hair. It makes me think of Meg. And like the way that Rainbow's hair is designed, it looks like something, just the style of it, the way that it is designed and styled just kind of makes me think of something from Greek mythology. Which, if that is the case, is very much on point and ironic considering Rainbow is a Pegasus, which is also from Greek mythology. So yeah, that just occurred to me. Like, Rainbow kind of makes me think of Meg here. Even the color of the dress is kind of similar. Except Zephyr is not Hercules. But yeah, that's kind of what that makes me think of. And I have to interject with this. That moment whenever Fluttershy makes a mention about being in tight spaces makes her think back to Castlemania whenever she was inside the castle with Angel Bunny, and it makes her think that he's all alone and scared. This, honestly, and I truly apologize if I'm getting this incorrect, but this kind of sounds a bit like PTSD. Like, this kind of is like one of those experiences that you have. It's kind of a traumatizing experience that you have in your life. It's an emotional or mental or even physical stressful situation. And after that point, anytime that you're put in a similar situation like that, your mind automatically correlates back to that other scenario where you had, and you begin to have a panic attack. And so I'm thinking that this might be partial or slightly or even fully similar, kind of like, you know, PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. Because, again, I think about, I remember the episode of The Amazing World of Gumball where Ozo, was it? Oso? Where Gumball wanted to be his friend because he thought he would meet his Uncle Mario. And Ozo put Gumball through a stressful, like, panic-inducing situation where he put a bag over his head and made Gumball think he was going to have to jump off of a roof, off of a building. After which, whenever Oso asked Gumball, "Are they cool?" the camera zooms into Gumball, and you can hear that moment in his mind. And it was a moment where he was scared, and it kind of put that, you know, it was a panic-inducing state. And now, you know, it's one of those situations, like I said, where your mind correlates that traumatic experience with anything futuristic that happens that has a similar setup. And so that's kind of what that makes me think here with Fluttershy. And there was an interesting dynamic here where Fluttershy makes a reference to sibling dynamics, and she makes, it's a total reference to Zephyr. And she even references Spike, telling him that Zephyr can learn a lot from Spike, which honestly is a really cool thing. But the interesting setup with this whole thing, again, there was the whole dynamic here that Spike wanted to feel included. He felt like Twilight was like his big sister. And there's been plenty of references in the fandom to Twilight being pretty much like Spike's mother. But it's interesting that this episode pretty much is Spike acknowledging, saying that Twilight is like his big sister. And early in the episode, we saw Spike being with Twilight and Shining, and so we got to see that early on. And since Spike hasn't really had any real dragon family, it's understandable that Twilight is kind of like a mother and a sister figure to him. And I think before, many people thought that, since Twilight kind of raised him from birth, that from a baby, that he was probably looked at her more like a mother. But here, he pretty much he indirectly says that she's like a big sister to him, which is honestly really cute and really sweet. And it's also cool because he pretty much says that Shining is like a big brother to him, which is also cool too. And as I said prior, the reference to Zephyr, again, the female guard here is ready to throttle him. Like, she is ready to just ultimately throttle him completely, rip him a new one, and you can tell she's fed up with his bullcrap. She's just fed up with his bullcrap. Then everybody is just shocked because they wonder, how did Spike get the crown? And then Luna was the inside job. Luna was the inside job and set it up the entire time, and I freaking love this. Luna is a boss. Luna is a complete boss. Even Celestia is like, the F? This is boss. This is totally Wicked Beast. I love this. I absolutely love this. Honestly, this would not have played out as good if it was Celestia. I mean, it would have been great, but to have Luna do this is beast. This totally beast. Like, don't underestimate the Mayor of the Night. Don't do it, okay? And of course, the ending where they begin to talk about working on the, enhancing security for the inside of the castle as well. And it's like, you can see they're ready to jump in, like they're ready to break into a sisterly brawl here. I love this episode as well because it shows, again, it furthers that dynamic between Celestia and Luna. And it's always great to see them break out of the regal and royal appearance that they traditionally have, where they have to appear as the elegant, dignified, and regal royal sisters of Equestria. They have to act with a certain standard, with a certain elegance, a certain dignity and grace. And so to see them break out of that and just be sisters, it's great. It's great because it shows there's totally much more to them. We've seen this several times already, but I love this moment. It's also because it shows them, yeah, the rulers of Equestria, but they're not perfect, they're flawed, they're still sisters, and I love this between them, and I'd love to see more of this throughout the season. It's great to see this with them. And of course the ending is, pardon me, they decide that Spike should get the crown, and honestly I think that's fair completely, because it would kind of be, I think it would kind of be unfair for Twilight or Shining to get it either way. I think it would kind of be a bit unfair for that. So I think it is appropriate that Spike gets it. I think it is appropriate. But this is I love the setup with this. Shining just basically has a total setup for inviting Twilight on this semi-friendly brother-sisterly thing, and Shining invites Twilight for this to declare who gets the crown once and for all. And I love this. I love this. It's a very simplistic, very, very uplifting little story between Twilight and Shining, and it again furthers that little setup between them, and it shows, again, the little sister and brother competition going on. It was really awesome. It was really cool to see that. And it was also interesting that Twilight involves the help of all of her friends to help her with this plan, because she knows that it's going to take more than just her to be able to accomplish this. And naturally, every single one of the characters have their own special talents that she was going to enlist them in helping with. because Twilight knew every single one of these every single one of them could do it. Every single one of these characters could do it because they all had a special talent they could do. But the funny thing was, of course, the only one... Shining knows Twilight better than anyone. So, yeah, Rarity's plan was actually genius. For Twilight to not do anything. To not make a plan, do anything, because that would go against what Shining was anticipating. Which it was an interesting twist, because Shining was not anticipating Twilight to make a plan, because I think he was anticipating that she wouldn't make a plan, because he thought she would be anticipating that he would be anticipating that she would make a plan. Oh, my head. And so there was definitely some major hijinks, and the plans did not fall. The plans all fell through, which was interesting because Twilight nor Shining was going to get it from the get-go. It was Spike, basically, the whole time. It was him the whole time. But Twilight decides to go with her own plan, and it turns out Twilight did not get the crown, and now that it's Shining, because it was Spike that did it. It was Spike that did it the whole time, with the help of the Mistress of the Night, the awesome Luna. And this is the freaking beast. And you know what? I have to say, this Luna, the way she's sitting here, it kind of makes me think of. Anyway, I tried to look it up. I can't remember, but my web browser isn't responding and wanting to be a total douche. So, anyway, Luna here, the way she sits here, petting this bird. This makes me think of that James Bond villain that had the cat. Like, Luna is a James Bond villain right here. Like, she's the cool villain that's sitting there petting a cat. That's who Luna reminds me of. And it's interesting that Luna did not need an introduction, that Spike just told the entire story from his perspective. Like, Luna did not say a word. She just sat there listening, like, just listening to the whole thing. I love this. I really love that. But yeah, I really love this episode. It was a very fun episode to see three different sibling setups here between Spike, Shining and Twilight, and Luna and Celestia. I love this episode. It was very cool to see that dynamic between each of them, to see that play out, and again, just to see a fun, zany episode without anyone trying to save Equestria from anything or go on some sort of friendship venture. And this is just them goofing off and having fun, and this really was a very sweet, very warm-hearted episode. And I really love this. And then the moments between Luna and Celestia were also great, as were the moments between Shining and Twilight. This was another episode that Twilight was able to just be herself. She's not a friendship. She's not princess of friendship. She's just Twilight. She's the Twilight we've known all along, from all the way back in season 1. And this we got to see of her. She did not have to have any regal or important appearance or role. This was just her. And this was fun to see, and it's great to to see this and to feel like to feel that the setup of what we were introduced to the show is still here. It's still there. And it was also interesting to see that Luna had been the mastermind behind the whole secret plan all along. And this was really great to see that. And I love that setup with Luna being the one that did it. I love that. And the references, different things going on in this show, in this episode, was just fantastic. There were some great faces that we got to see, and this was really fun. This was just a really fun episode, and I really loved it. This is definitely one of my favorite episodes right now of season 9. This is definitely one of my favorite episodes of season 9 right now. I'm curious as to what's going to happen in later episodes with this. as I said prior, I do think it's appropriate that Spike was the one. I was wondering who was going to get the crown at the end. Was it going to be Shining? Was it going to be Twilight? And considering Shining said that they would be the definitive, they would be the definitive one to hold the crown for good. And I just kind of felt like, if one gets it, that was, the other one isn't going to ever have it. And so I thought that's kind of sad. So I'm glad that neither got it, and that it was actually Spike who was the one who got it in the end. It was great for them to acknowledge him as being present and being there and still being, being a part of their family, and acknowledging him fully as a little brother of the family. That was great to see, and it was also great to see it from to hear it from Shining's perspective as well. And so it was really fantastic, and it was really heartwarming to see that. And I think is also very fitting, like I said, because Spike got it. He felt like he was never acknowledged as a little brother, and so here he gets the crown. And Twilight and Shining both decided, to give it to him, and that he was the one that deserved it. And I think it was really cool. Well, okay, they didn't decide to give it to him. They still would have tried, but they decided that he should keep it, and I still think that is really great. And I would love to see more of these moments with with Twilight and Shining as well later on, as well as Luna and Celestia. Like I said, the only questions that I have, okay, I have a few. Number one, was that part with Applejack, was that real? Or was it her own fan fiction? Because realistically, and I am an analyst, this is what I do. Realistically, if Applejack did retire, she's very young to retire from something like that. Number two, if she did do that, then how has no one ever recognized her or pointed her out in a crowd before? Realistically speaking, if you want to look at it from a technical perspective, it's a cartoon that was thrown in there as a joke, as a laugh, and it may not have happened. But if you look at it from a real-life, realistic perspective, then you would think it couldn't have happened because other people would have pointed that out. But it was still an interesting setup. And again, I love the noir kind of detective scenario with Rarity. I love that. It was interesting to see Rainbow put into that. And the segment with Rainbow having to try to flirt with Zephyr was cringy as heck. But it was cool at the same time. Because, number one, that's the first time that we've ever... I mean, we've seen Rarity flirt with a guy before. But to see one of the girls have to flirt with a guy that they did not like to try to distract him, I've seen that setup in other shows before. But here in MLP, it was something that I was not expecting, but it totally worked. It worked, and who better to do it than Rainbow and Zephyr? And I loved it. I totally loved it. Rainbow has more patience than me, though, because if I was Rainbow, I would have kicked him in his nuts. I would have. I would have made him have to wear a cup for life. But yeah, I really enjoyed this episode. This was a fun episode. And considering this is the final season, I would say this is a great episode for the final season. I would honestly say that. It's a great episode, and it's a fun episode, and it's great to see no big adventure, just having fun, random zaniness. I love it. So again, everybody that worked on this episode, everybody, Hasbro DHX, everybody, thank you all so much for this episode. Really loved this episode. This was a fun one. Really enjoyed it. Thank you all so much. And thank you guys again for joining me. I hope you guys enjoyed as well. Let me know your thoughts as well in the comments below. Thanks again for joining me. Hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video that I do. Take care.